Evening and a warm welcome to the National League Highlight Show once again. It's Vanarama for the month of October in support of Prostate Cancer UK. Kevin Davis, former Chesterfield player, alongside me here at the ProAct Stadium, and we'll get to that in due course. But the fifth tier returned to the spotlight this weekend after an FA Cup interlude last weekend. And we'll start our weekend roundup with the top two, Bromley in action up against Halifax in South East London. Andy May has the details.
Second and first were separated by goal difference only. After no goals in the opening period, Adam Meckie stylishly volleyed home moments after the restart, bagging his first of the season in the National League. Neil Smith's team have scored in their last 17 games and doubled their advantage after an hour's play, this time courtesy of Rico Hackett-Fairchild. Next came a free kick from Hackett-Fairchild and a third resulting from a set piece. Chris Bush also able to beat Sam Johnson. The Shaman's afternoon in the capital continued to worsen as a challenge by Jerome Binham-Williams was deemed worthy of a second yellow card by referee Savas Yanni. Prior to kick-off, the away side did have the division's best defence, but this didn't prevent them conceding more at Hayes Lane. Bromley's fourth from open play, poked in by Josh Rees. The spectacular fifth-tier rout was then complete in added time. Joe Kizzy joined in the fun as a 5-0 success puts brilliant Bromley into first position.
We've started, unbelievably, and I don't think anybody had us up there or thereabouts, like we did at the beginning of the season. But now you're up there, everyone's coming for you, and you're going to have to be at your best every game. Every game's a cup final, like it would have been today. But we'll enjoy it. We'll enjoy it for today. But we've got Stockport on Tuesday, and it's going to be another tough game.
Playing for the first time since their controversial FA Cup abandonment at Haringey Borough, Yeovil went ahead early at Chorley as Rhys Murphy provided for Matt Worthington. Back in August was when he last hit the target. After the interval, an improved performance from the hosts led to an equaliser, and Tumba Masanka striking amidst a scramble in the box. 1-1, game on. With only 4 minutes to go at Victory Park, the Glovers secured all of the points. Top marksman Murphy turned scorer, finding the back of the net for the 9th time. Chorley now haven't won in 8. Aiming to win an 8th game in succession, seemingly unplayable Barrow took control on the South Coast after 10 minutes by a non-league journeyman, Dior Angus. Torquay hadn't lost at home to their Cumbrian opponent since 1968. Keen for this to continue, Jamie Reid grabbed a goals equaliser. Then close to the break at Plainmoor, John Rooney was ruled to have handled in the area, penalty given, and the younger of the two Rooney's reaction resulted in a straight red from referee Richard Hume. From 12 yards, Reid did the business, making it 12 for the campaign, becoming National League top scorer. Minutes after the restart, pressure on Barrow from the home team continued, and another opportunity was taken, this time by Armani Little. The visitors, however, with one player fewer, weren't done. On as a sub, Connor Brown made an immediate impact in Devon, tapping in at the post to reduce the deficit. But into the last 15 minutes, Gary Johnson's hosts ensured they'd take all 3 points. Man of the match Reid allowed Little to capture a brace of his own. Facing Aldershot, Harrogate snatched victory in the 91st minute through Jack Emmett. Simon Weaver's men haven't lost in 8, the longest unbeaten run in the league.
Just caught a glimpse of the Jack Emmett winner there at Harrogate. We'll pick through those goals and talking points in order, because that's a great win for Bromley, isn't it? Some people did tip them, despite Neil Smith suggesting otherwise at the start of the season, at least as a dark horse, but 3 defeats in 4 and then a 5-0 win over the team sitting second.
Yeah, it came from nowhere, didn't it? I think but it's a real statement to the league. They've got a lot of firepower, as we heard there, scored in the last 17 games, I think. So going forward, one of the best teams in the league, going to score regularly, and if they can keep it obviously tight at the back and get some more momentum now, they could be one of the teams in and around the automatic spots. But you got a feeling that the league's going to be changing hands quite a lot this season, because I don't think there's a standout team in the league, and that makes for good viewing, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see how it develops over the next couple of months before Christmas.
Not many teams come down from League Two and thrive, at least not straight away. Yeovil looks like they've found their feet quite quickly. Great, important winner from them today. Yeah,
definitely. I think, scoring a late goal it's just the best way of winning the game. You come in the next week, you're bouncing. There's a quick turnaround for the next games now, but that can give you real belief, give you a real lift, and they've adjusted fairly well so far, you'd have to say, yeah.
Barrow were flying, went to Torquay, I'm sure, full of hope. And John Rooney, obviously younger brother of Wayne, has probably upset the apple cart, certainly upset the referee, doesn't he? Is this definitely handball for the penalty?
It's hard to see. You see he's gone in there, it's a good tackle, but the ball's just gone through and it looks like it struck his arm, and I think the referee's in a good position. He's got no choice but to give it, and you can see his reaction there. It's got him in a lot of bother, and the referee sends him off, so it's a double whammy for him. A lot of frustration around, but you can say it's cost his team a little bit there. Just a bit of indiscipline, really.
Yeah, now I was at Harrogate a couple of weeks ago, quite impressed with them starting to find their form again under Simon Weaver. We saw the just about saw the late winner from Jack Emmett, but I think that's 5 wins out of 6. They're just, again, starting to show last season's form once.
Yeah, I like them as a football club. I've dealt with them when I was at Stockport for the National League South, and probably one of the best footballing teams, I'd say, in the league. At home, they're always going to be strong on that pitch as well. So a good footballing team, and they're again doing really well, and they're easy on the eye, shall we say? Yeah.
Yeah, Simon Weaver obviously been at Harrogate a long time and doing a very, very good job. Since you were last with us on the National League highlights, though, 3 clubs in this division have decided to make a change of manager. We were, of course, at Stockport just a couple of weeks ago. They decided Hartlepool after that game to part company with Craig Hignett for the 2nd time after that defeat at Edgeley Park. Just a few hours after that, Gary Hill then departed bottom of the table Ebbsfleet after less than a year in charge. And finally, but certainly not least, AFC Fylde made that emotional decision to part company with Dave Challoner after almost 8 years at the helm. Of course, Dave, who'd led them to 3 promotions, last season's playoff final, and lifted the FA Trophy at Wembley. Seb Hutchinson fills us in on how the 3 now managerless clubs fared today, starting with Fylde at Boreham Wood.
League life after Challoner began with a trip to Boreham Wood and a goal in the first 90 minutes. And what a goal. Andy Taylor scoring on his league debut. John Hill's the caretaker coach for the Coasters, and his National League reign would start with a win, as in added time, Daniel Bradley followed up his own effort to secure Fylde's first away win since the opening match day. Anthony Sweeney, the man in caretaker charge of Hartlepool, as they welcomed Barnet, who began the weekend in 10th. But the Bees fell behind with just over 5 minutes on the clock. Nicky Kabamba slotting home. And Hartlepool were 2 up just before the half hour. Suspicions of offside in regards to Kabamba's second, but nevertheless, a 4th goal in the striker's last 3 matches. The visitors' frustrations carried through to the second half when Jack Taylor's loose pass preceded an even looser tackle. A second yellow card as Hartlepool moved above Barnet in the table.
I've just said to the lads there, really proud of them, really. We've built this week in terms of what we wanted to do, but also what we thought Barnet would do. And I thought for large periods of that game, the players executed the game plan to more or less perfection.
Kevin Watson still in temporary charge of Ebbsfleet for what would prove an entertaining trip to Gander Green Lane. Albie Morgan got the ball rolling in the opening 10 minutes. His free kick, misjudged by goalkeeper Jamie Butler, who had the final touch. That was Ebbsfleet's first goal in 6 trips to Sutton, but it was cancelled out less than 15 minutes later. A strong run and finish from Danny Ajiboye, a first senior goal for the 21-year-old. But the goal of the game would come in the second half as the visitors regained the lead. Josh Payne on loan from Crawley with his first goal since arriving at the start of the month. A fine dipping volley with an hour on the clock. But just like in the first half, the advantage lasted less than a quarter of an hour. Omar Bougil's near-post volley, his first strike for the club. But the strikers' afternoon would go from high to low, as Sutton would end the weekend in the bottom 4. In the 90th minute, Jamie Grimes pulled down by Bougiel and a penalty awarded to the visitors. Gozi Ugwu stepped up to move the Fleet off the foot of the table and make it 3 wins from 3 for the caretaker trio.
Well, normally we talk about who'd be a manager. Everyone should be a caretaker. Don't they call it the dead cat bounce element of a club deciding to make a change? All 3 winning.
Yeah, I'm sure those previous managers will be at home wondering why they've not put those kind of performances in. And, you know, being in dressing rooms where players, you know, you lose a bit of faith in the manager for whatever reason, and, you know, owners make decisions based on the information they get. They're not always the right ones, but they make it because of the financial constraints, staying in the league, trying to get promotion. The big decisions, but what's important is they get the next one right. So some of the caretaker managers there give themselves a chance, haven't they?
Well, I would imagine they have, yeah. If we start with Fylde, Andy Taylor, I think it is, who's a short-term signing from Oldham. He was released by Oldham and obviously comes in with an important and spectacular goal today, and they all count.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's all about technique, isn't it? He just sizes it up there and it just goes in off the underside of the bar, doesn't it? And, you know, those are the kind of goals and performances you need just to give yourself a lift as a club, really, because it's difficult being down there after particularly what they did last year as well. You know, another club that good budget should be challenging again. Yeah,
and then you see that tremendous strike from Josh Payne on loan from Crawley at Ebbsfleet. Gary Hill had probably a bit of a thankless task because the club's in turmoil, as we know, but it doesn't half help when you can find a player like this and someone who can do this.
Oh, amazing, yeah, it's a wonderful strike, isn't it? I mean, goalkeeper sees it fairly late on, but those things just don't go for you sometimes when you're struggling as a manager and as a club, and that one flew in, didn't it? And they got a late penalty as well, which gave them the victory. So a huge win for them as well.
Then our next stop is here at Chesterfield for the evening kickoff, live on BT Sport between Chesterfield and Notts County. Chesterfield trying to make it 4 wins out of 5. John Sheridan just starting to put a bit of a run together. Notts County already on a pretty good run and around the playoff places. Watching for us, Adam Virgo and Adam Summerson.
It goes from Doyle. Baldwin to Dennis, and Dennis might go alone. And a good save by Shwan Jalal.
That's a good save there from Jalal. Good, strong left hand as well. What they do well, Baldwin just wins that second ball brilliantly. Just onside there. I think it would have been hard for him to square it to Baldwin, but a good shot across goal.
Bowden able to bring it down and turn. He's got Weston in the box and others arriving. Oh, what a good finish! At the back post. It was turned in by Nepo Musena. Fabulous volley from the Chesterfield man to put the Spyrites in front, perhaps against the run of play.
What you want from your wide players in Nepo Musena is a player to attack the far post. They have to do more to stop that cross coming in, and they don't. And then they just switch off. Well, that's a quality ball in there, and it's a quality finish.
Oh, right underneath that, Sheridan, but the header was won, and it's in! Will Evans got it in the back of the net, but it's been ruled out. And now Notts County are looking to hit them on the counter-attack, and Evans has got to get back in position. Well, that'll be interesting to see again, but it was immediately ruled out. In comes the cross. And it's come out to Brindley. That could have gone anywhere. Of Western, end-to-end stuff at the Pro Act.
Thought they'd gone 2-0 down. This is the situation here. It's just an offside position.
Into the 4th minute of added time we go. On the header from Rose is only just off target. And he knows that's probably it for Notts.
Brilliant resiliency from Chesterfield this evening. Clean sheets have been hard to come by.
John, before the game you were cautiously optimistic. Was that the most pleasing result of the season?
Yeah, I think so, because I do believe that Notts County will be up there at the end of the season. Probably the best team we've played. So I'm just a bit to the players. The performance with workmanlike, and we get the goal, and I think they had a lot of possession, but I don't think they've troubled us too much. So it's a massive result for us. Hopefully it gives us a bit more belief and carry on this little run we're on at the moment.
Well, you know that you're going to lose games across the season, and I think the sign of a team that's going to get where they want to go is how they bounce back, and that's what we've got to do. You know, we got carried away, we climbed up to 5th, and everyone gets their hopes up, and we probably dropped down to 9th or 10th now because the league's so tight, and we've got to bounce back, and we've got 2 games to do it now.
Thanks for talking to us, Neil.
Yeah, that is about the size of it. That is the nature of the league this season. And Chesterfield kind of arm wrestled their way out of danger again today, didn't they?
Yeah, it wasn't a classic performance by any stretch, but they were organised, they worked hard, they were committed. The energy levels looked good, and they defended really well. And I think it was a combination of Notts County being quite poor in that final third, but also they defended in the right way. Yeah. In terms of their organisation of players, the leaders out there. And it was a committed performance from them, and that would really please John Sheridan.
Yeah, and a bit of quality for their goal, wasn't it? With Scott Bowden naturally involved and then Nepomuceno at the far post. Yeah, again, there wasn't too many of these kind of chances, really. This is a nice ball from Yarni, and Bowden does well, and the defenders should go tight with him. Then I think Brindley, who gets kind of sucked into looking at the run from Weston, and it leaves it wide open for the chaps are coming around the far side and knock it in. So a lovely ball in from Bowden. He had a decent game, looked lively, and it's a good finish at the end of it. It is, and 4 wins out of 5 will definitely help the confidence after a very poor run. Yeah, there'll be a lot of relief. I think, as I said, John Sheridan's handling it. He looks quite calm, but he'll be delighted from the response now. They're on the charge, and after a slow start to the season, no win in the first 10, be pleased from what you've seen from his team so far. 4 more games to round up for you, and Jake Watson has all the details.
Woking topped the National League in September, but have since gone 9 games without a win to drop outside of the playoff places. There was a 15-minute delay early in the second half following a serious-looking injury to Eastleigh defender Rob Atkinson, who was stretchered off. Once play resumed, Woking, desperate for a win, threw bodies forward, and with time running out, scored through Jamal Loza in what was the 95th minute. A win at last was no doubt the thoughts of Woking boss Alan Dowson, but Eastleigh and Scott Rendell had other ideas. This draw is Woking's 7th in their last 10 games. Maidenhead returned to winning ways last week after a barren 8-game run. Their form would be put to the test by a Solihull side who looked back to last season's best. Remy Klarima's late goal in injury time, sending the Maidenhead fans home happy. Peter Taylor's Dagenham side would have been confident of picking up all 3 points against the struggling Wrexham. And they were the much better of the 2 early on. It was no surprise when they took the lead. Angelo Balanta glancing in a fine header to finish off a very slick move. The celebration perhaps less so. Wrexham won home and away against the Daggers last season, but Dean Keats will perhaps have his sights set slightly lower than last season's promotion challenge, but they were gifted an equaliser just before the hour mark after some rather sloppy defending. Luke Young saying thanks very much. But that goodwill from Dagenham lasted just a couple of minutes as they immediately went back on the attack, and Chike Kandi was quickest to react to put his team back in front and seal all 3 points. Dagenham now in touching distance of those playoff spots. Stockport have struggled on the road this season, just 1 win in 8 and no goals in their last 4. Frank Mulhern has probably never scored a better goal, giving Jim Gannon's team the perfect platform to end their away day blues, with the striker taking every opportunity to really soak up the deserved applause from the travelling fans. Dover have won 7 times this season, but just 1 of those have come in front of their own supporters, and the closest they came to scoring today was this speculative effort from Jay Reason.
Well, first things first, delighted to say that Eastleigh have reported via social media that their defender, Rob Atkinson, despite being stretchered off with what looked like a serious injury, seems to be okay, had some pain in his neck that seemed to be affecting his back as well. But the latest we have is that he seems to be suffering no long-term ill effects, so that's good news. Also, Frank Mulhern's volley for Stockport, that would grace any game at any level. Have you ever scored anyone as good as that?
No, I think we've got a goal of the season contender right there, haven't we? The first touch just sets him up perfectly, doesn't he? And he's just got one thing in his mind. I mean, the goalkeeper's, 6-7 yards off his line and doesn't move, does he? The celebration's not bad either, is it? So.
Well, I wonder where he goes past his teammates, past the goalie.
He's getting his running stats
Actually,
up,
what you also see in the slide is great contingent of Stockport fans. That's a
Yeah.
long way from Stockport to Dover, and they haven't been good on the road, so that's impressive.
No, it's great following, and another big club in this league who are expecting to do fairly well and maybe challenge this year.
Yeah, no, indeed. Yeah, well, it's one step at a time, as it will be for Wrexham. They did make the change. Obviously, Brian Hughes departing, Dean Keats back in. Not quite had the blue touch paper lit just yet, but he's a good manager, knows the club, so you'd think in time.
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, you hope these managers get a little bit of time, and they're lucky. What's going to Chesterfield, 4 wins in the last 5, and suddenly you can propel yourself forward and get a bit of momentum, and that's what they need right now because they're struggling at the moment.
Yeah, same for Tim Flowers perhaps and Solihull. Let's have a little look at the table, top and bottom. Before we go, Bromley obviously with that big win that we had for you at the top of the highlight show. Now a point clear of Yeovil. They the 2 big winners, I suppose, right at the top. Although Harrogate are sneaking into that top echelon now with a good run of results. Halifax obviously slipping with that defeat at Bromley. Barrow on that excellent run until today. Woking and Torquay currently making up the top 7, although it is very, very tight around those playoff places. At the other end, Chorley, who put a number of draws together, but beaten by the late goal today. Still bottom, albeit level on points with Ebbsfleet, despite their win today. Wrexham still in the bottom 3, and Sutton are also into the bottom 4, the relegation spots. Chesterfield, of course, and Fylde with their wins in today and recent weeks, starting to climb away from danger. Thank you very much, of course, to Kevin. As always, we're going to go inside and warm up. Our next offering from the National League is at Yeovil in 3 weeks' time in mid-November, with Dover the visitors to Hoosh Park. We'll see you then. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.